new UCLA offensive coach. We're just going to call you the Swiss Army knife because it sounds like you have a lot of hats this year. It sounds like you're going to be doing a lot of things.
Okay.
Jim Mastro here. Going into this fall camp, we talked a lot about, what you needed to see in spring camp out of the guys, just their first impression that you had of them. Now that you've seen that first impression, kind of what's your tone? What's your feeling going into the season, specifically about the running game?
We have a bunch of guys that want to do it. We have a bunch of guys that'll do whatever we ask them to do. We just got to ask them to do a lot. And we did that in the spring. I thought they did it well. I was really impressed with the way spring ended. Even down 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Those other guys stepped up and did some good things. But we're going to ask them to do a lot. We're going to ask them to be physical. We're going to ask them to understand defenses and execute. But I was happy with the way spring ended.
Especially with your title as running game coordinator, that position itself just sounds like an overseeing kind of job. When you think of what your role is and how it was defined in spring, did you get a real feel for what you need to do within your position?
Oh, sure, no question. Yeah, my time was focused on those 2 positions, the Y and the F. But basically, it was just to make sure the run game is where it's supposed to be. And we have great coaches on offense here, and they understand it. And I taught it to them, but we're okay with that. They understand where we're going, how we're getting there. It's just about execution. It's about practice habits.
Yeah.
It's about a will to win.
That puts a lot of the onus on the players. But at the same time, you guys are the ones calling the plays. You guys are the ones coming up with the game plan and all that kind of stuff. How difficult, going back to your days at Nevada, was it to not only learn the formation and learn the offense, but to know how to call plays well within that offense? Because that's forgotten a lot of the times.
Not hard at all.
Really?
The run game is really simple. It's not. People think it's complex. It's not. It's pretty cut and dry. And so we'll put that on the quarterbacks a lot with preparation. They have to understand, what we're doing and what formations. But it's not hard at all. It's just about we keep it simple so they can execute. You do too much, they can't execute anything. You keep it simple, and they can execute a lot better.
The way you're describing it kind of is almost like that old wing T. It's like you go straight, you go left, or you go right, and that's all. And yet once you get to this level, you take in the quarterback play and his ability to run and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that the players are grasping almost the why you guys are running the pistol so much as, this is what we're running, but here's why we're running it?
Sure, they do now. Now that we're able to get through a spring and put some formation cut-ups together, now they understand. And they understood it last year. They ran the ball well last year. There was no problem with that. But now I think just explaining the principles to it and the reasonings behind it, they understand. They understand why. Quarterbacks are real smart. They understand it. So we're ahead of the learning curve a lot more than we were the last place I was at in year 2.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Coach, you have 4 running backs. A pretty solid stable of 4 running backs, and it pretty much goes, senior, junior, sophomore, freshman. And you would, in your mind, you think, okay, well then, the senior and junior are going to get the carries, and then the sophomore and freshman when they turn. And yet at the same time, you've talked to me about having 3,000-yard rushers, having 4 guys getting a ton of carries and all that kind of stuff. Going into the season, is that still your feeling? Do you still want 4 guys, 3 guys at least who are going to carry the rock?
Well, you have to have 3 ready in every game. You have to have 3 running backs ready in every game. You have your top 2, and then your third one's got to be able to carry a load. Your quarterback's another ball carrier in this offense. But, you have to have 3 guys ready in a week. You can't. As much as you run the ball and as physical as that position is, if you think you're going to do it with 2 guys, you're going to hurt yourself. You got to have 3 ready to go.
That third position then becomes interesting because it's a thunder lightning kind of thing. You got the Malcolm Jones and the Jordan James. How do you look for anything in that third guy, and do you favor either kind of body or physical ability?
Most productive guy. I don't care if he's 110 pounds or 270 pounds. It's production. You got to play with guys that are going to produce for you. And that's kind of your barometer is who's going to produce for you.
Last thing I have for you is I just got done talking with Coach Neuheisel about chemistry and about how a coaching staff's chemistry is not just about, I really, really like Inoki Brechterfield. He's a nice guy. I can eat but it's more about the chemistry of your style and his style, and all of your styles meshing and molding together. Is that something that you felt kind of early with this team? Because it seemed, especially with this new coaching staff, it seemed pretty quickly in spring that you guys had that kind of a common voice almost, you want to say.
Sure. I think it goes back to these players will do whatever we ask them to do. They want to win here. And I think just with new coaches, it's just new energy. And I think the players appreciated the new energy. And that's where it got infectious. Everybody bought in.
Yeah.
As a staff and as a team, you really bought in and really have a good chemistry amongst this staff and this team. So that helps you. But again, you still got to go out and execute on Saturdays.
All right, good stuff. Jim Mastro, new UCLA. What is your official position? Running game coordinator?
Yeah, that's
We'll just stick with that. All right, there we go. Thanks, Coach.